My name is Samuel, and for 35 years I was a god in this city. When the sirens wailed and the smoke choked the sky, people looked at me like I was their only hope. I pulled children out of burning bedrooms. I've carried old men down crumbling staircases. I've stood in the mouth of hell itself and told the fire, not today. In the firehouse, I had brothers who would take a bullet for me. We were a tribe. We shared the same smoke, the same trauma, and the same dark jokes. People in the street would stop me to shake my hand and say, "Thank you for your service, Sam." I loved the adrenaline. I loved the respect. But there is a dirty secret about being a hero that no one tells you. The more people you save out there, the more you end up losing at home. I was saving everyone else's family, while I was letting my own burn to the ground.
I remember 1985. I was 28, and the firehouse was my real home. My wife, Linda, used to say that I only came to our house to wash my uniform and sleep. She wasn't wrong. I'd be at the dinner table, and my mind would be at the station, waiting for the bell. I'd look at my two young sons, and instead of seeing their growing faces, I was thinking about the ventilation patterns of a high-rise fire. I was addicted to the crisis. When you spend your day fighting a literal monster, the quiet problems of a marriage feel small, irrelevant. When Linda wanted to talk about our mortgage or her loneliness, I'd just shrug and say, "I'm tired, Linda. I just fought a 3-alarm fire. Give me a break." I used my bravery as a shield to protect me from the hard work of being a father.
There's a photo in an old album, my son's 7th birthday. Everyone is there, laughing, eating cake, and then there's me. I'm in the corner, still in my work boots, staring at my pager. I'd just come from a scene where a family lost everything. I was physically there, but my soul was still covered in soot and ash. I couldn't connect with the joy of my own child because I was too busy carrying the weight of a stranger's tragedy. I thought that by being a hero for the city, I was being a hero for my boys. I thought they'd grow up and say, "My dad is a legend." But they didn't need a legend. They needed a dad who would sit on the floor and play Legos. They needed a dad who wasn't always looking for the nearest exit in case the bell rang. I was providing them with a safe house, but I wasn't providing them with a father. We called it the Brotherhood. At the station, we were closer than family. We'd spend 24 hours a day together, eating, sleeping, and fighting for our lives. I'd tell my guys everything, my fears, my mistakes, my dreams. But when I'd walk through my own front door, I'd go silent. I didn't want to bring the job home. At least, that's what I told myself. The truth was, I just didn't have anything left for Linda. I'd given all my empathy, all my patience, and all my strength to my brothers. By the time I got home, I was an empty shell. I was a hero to the men at the station, but I was a stranger to the woman who was raising my children. I was building a bond with men I'd eventually lose, and I was breaking a bond with the only person who was supposed to stay. When I retired at 60, the city gave me a plaque. The guys threw me a huge party. There were speeches and toasts, and for a few hours I felt like the center of the universe. But then the party ended. I went home, and for the first time in 35 years, the bell wasn't going to ring. And that was when the silence began to scream. My sons were grown and gone. One's in Seattle, the other's in Dallas. They call me once a month to check the veteran box. My wife, Linda, We're still married, but we live like two people sharing a bus stop. She has her life, her garden, her friends. She learned to live without me decades ago. I spent 35 years being the most important man in the room, and now I'm the man who's just in the way. My brothers from the station, most of them are gone. Cancer, heart attacks, or just lost in their own lonely retirements. The tribe is gone, and I'm the only one left in the cave. I'll never forget the spring of 1992. My son, Jake, was the star pitcher for his high school team. They made it to the state championship, the biggest game of his life. I promised him I'd be there. I swore on my badge that I'd be in the front row cheering him on. But an hour before the first pitch, a 4-alarm fire broke out in an old warehouse downtown. My shift was over, but I stayed. I told myself, they need me. I'm the best captain they've got. I spent 8 hours in a literal furnace, breathing in poison and fighting a monster. I walked out of that smoke at midnight, a hero once again. The local news even took a photo of me. But when I got home, the house was dark. A single baseball glove was sitting on the kitchen table. Jake didn't say a word to me for a week. I'd saved a warehouse full of empty boxes, but I'd lost the only thing that mattered to my son. I was a legend in the newspapers, but I was a ghost in his memories. I used to polish my captain's badge every single night. It was my pride. It was my identity. To me, that piece of silver meant I was a man of honor, a protector, a servant of the people. But now, as I hold it in my shaky 74-year-old hands, it just feels heavy, cold. It's just a piece of metal. It didn't keep Linda warm at night when I was at the station. It didn't teach my sons how to drive a car or how to treat a woman. I spent my whole life polishing a symbol, while the real things, the relationships, the trust, the small moments of love were tarnished by my neglect. Your job will replace you in a heartbeat. They'll have a new captain in your chair before your locker's even empty. But your family? There is no replacement for you there. I was a temporary hero for a city and a permanent disappointment for a home. A few years ago, I tried to talk to Jake about it. I told him I was sorry I missed so many games, so many dinners. I tried to explain the duty I felt. He looked at me, and he didn't look angry. He just looked indifferent. He said, "Dad, we stopped waiting for you when I was 10. You were the guy we saw on the news. You were the guy who slept on the couch on Sundays. We knew the city loved you, so we just let them have you." That hurt more than any burn I ever got on the job. He didn't hate me. He had just learned how to not need me. I had successfully raised independent, strong men, but I hadn't raised sons who wanted to spend time with their father. I'd traded my place in their hearts for a plaque on the wall, and now that the plaque is covered in dust, I realize how bad the bargain was.
My lungs aren't what they used to be. The doctors call it the hero's cough. 35 years of breathing in burning plastic and toxic fumes has left me with a chest that feels like it's full of broken glass. Every morning, I sit on my porch and I cough until my eyes water. And every morning I realize that the city I protected doesn't even know I'm still alive. The strangers I saved have moved on with their lives. The buildings I kept from burning have been torn down or sold. The only people who are still here, the only ones who actually have to deal with my failing health and my grumpy moods, are Linda and the kids. The very people I ignored are the only ones left to carry me to the finish line. Life has a funny way of showing you your mistakes when it's too late to fix 'em.